Welcome to Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? I hope you're great. I'm top shelf and ready to go. A lot of feedback lately. A lot of observations. Some of the feedback makes my eyes and ears perk up, makes me notice things, purple car theory. But part of it is people a little later in life, we'll say the last half. How about last half? This would apply to anything. But I've noticed some people around my age who are struggling. And they're struggling with, this is not how I thought it would be. This is not how I thought it would feel. And it's not necessarily a financial thing. It's more of an emotional thing. And I'm not big on emotions. I have them. I have a few. And it's not drama. It's circumstances that are a result of things. So I'm going to talk about I'm going to make three statements. And we'll talk through it. But it's around peace. They don't have that peace. And peace can be a fleeting thing. True peace will last, but it is a prize. And it's worth fighting for. However, some peace is unattainable depending on where your mindset is or where it has been up to this point. You can't just flip a switch on some things. So I'm going to make three statements. Okay? I'm going to make the statements, then we're going to talk about them. Statement number one, if your motives aren't pure, the gains will vanish just as quickly as they came. If your motives aren't pure, any gains you have is going to vanish just as quick as it came. Number two, if your aim is to hurt someone, you're going to feel the pain. You will feel the pain. And number three, when selfishness outweighs empathy, true peace is not possible. It's not possible. So we're going to talk through that. Peace can walk away. There's a reason. Peace is quiet. It just doesn't come stampeding out. Hey, I'm here. Boom. Now you have peace. No, that's not it. A lot of times we will have it and we don't know it until it goes away. We feel a lack of peace. A lot of times more than we do feel that, because we don't slow down enough to feel it a lot of times. But peace doesn't storm in and it doesn't storm out. It just slips away. And what does it leave behind? Some maybe tension. Yeah. War and peace. There you go. But also bitterness. Just noise. What is this? It's the opposite of peace. And it leaves when your motives rot. Don't use that word a lot. I think I'm going to use that word more. But when the motives are bad, to go to the first one, when your motives are bad, the gains you got, and maybe the gains were peace, goes away just as quickly as it came in. When you're using pain as a weapon, or you're trying to hurt someone, you can't feel peace when that's the tool you're using, or that's the motive you're going after. And then the last one, when selfishness outweighs empathy, if you're all about yourself, all right, okay. Empathy is one of the best characteristics of human beings. Yeah, some animals have empathy as well. But that's one of our best characteristics. So when we lose that and are just thinking about ourselves, peace is not possible. So those are the three things. Let's talk about them. Let's jump in, hook, line, and sinker. So the three challenges that drive peace away, that make peace unattainable. First of all, impure motives. I stated, if your motives aren't pure, your gains are going away just as quick as you got them. And the gains can be anything. The gains can be money. The gains can be friendships. The gains can be social status, a promotion, any of those things. But if your motives aren't pure, you better enjoy them while you've got them, because they were built on a shaky foundation. In thinking about the homework and play dynamic of this. Over 40% of divorces cite dishonesty, lack of commitment as the root. However, if you dig in deeper, they questioned each other's motives. Why were you doing that? Maybe it was jealousy. Maybe it was founded. Maybe it was unfounded. Maybe it was whatever. It was based on a questioning of motives. And if your motives aren't pure, hey, it's not going to last. At work, 70% of people that just disengage is because they don't trust their leaders' motives. They think they're being selfish, or it's all about them, or they're going to find their way to the top and leave everybody else behind. And all of that can sneak into a person's psyche and get to them. But 70% question their leaders' motives and they disengage. And then at play, you got friendships that fail when they're built on convenience. Yeah. If it's not based in care, a motive, there are things I would do for anybody. Most people, I think, and this really goes to the third one, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Most people, if their motives are pure, would do things for their friends that they wouldn't do for themselves. They would put themselves in, not in harm's way necessarily, but they would inconvenience themselves to take care of a friend. When that does not happen, the motives are not pure, the friendship usually suffers. 1 in 3 adults under 35, they say they're lonely. They did have friends, but it broke apart somehow. Maybe it was the friend. Maybe it was them. But 1 in 3? Under 35. That hurt, because that's when you have tons of friends. You get them later too. So the emotions behind this, motives not being pure, it's the whole insecurity. You fear loss. You have anxiety around control. And so a lot of times you will misrepresent your motives. Maybe your motives are so unpure that you hide them. You don't want people to really know this. Yeah, I'm being nice to you so that I can get to this. I'm friends with you because you're boss's son. Or, yeah, you're a great cook and I'm just being nice to you so I'll get invited to your dinner party so I can eat your food. I really don't care about you, whatever. So all of that, it brings it in. And it is just as destructive to the person that has the impure motives as it is the people they're harming, because they can go on. You are the toxic person in that situation. They go on and find somebody else. They see your motives. That's why your gains aren't going to last. So when we go through these things, definitely think about yourself. That's what we want to do, because we want you to have peace. You want you to find it, obtain it, and keep it. That's what we want here. We're in the peace business, people. However, those friends or those acquaintances or those people at work, notice this, because we're going to talk about how to build this, build it back, repair it, establish it, all of those things. So, motives, so important. I'll get to the how-to in a minute, but check your motives. Second one, intentions to hurt. If that is what you're trying to do. Oh, have we all been there? Yes. Hopefully, we're not there much anymore. The meanest creature on the face of the earth is a teenage girl. I believe it. I had 2 older sisters. I watched them, and they were good. They were pretty much sweet. But boy, when the fangs come out, oof, horrible. And now with social media, it's 10 times worse. But it's not just them. I see it all the time. I see the gossip. I see the backbiting. I see the undermining at homework and play. It is horrible. And so you're going to hurt people. You are. I don't think it's avoidable unless you're a hermit. And you're going to be hurt by people. No doubt about it. But if that is the intent, you're the one going to feel the pain. And understand, if someone's intent is to hurt you, they may. They're going to feel the pain. You will move on. You've learned. You got some valuable information right there. Yeah, so think about that at home. You say, nobody would hurt anybody at home. There's some words out there. There's some verbal daggers flying around the house a lot of times. And sometimes they cut a little deeper. Sometimes it's a It's put there, and it's like a seed or an incubator, and it will grow later, and then boom, it'll get you. But it's the things, those couples that fight, and they pick that one thing that knows going to get you. John Caparulo does a great comedy bit about women. They just don't fight fair. And I'm not going to do the bit. It's hilarious. It's a little off color, but it's fantastic. But I do some mild comeback, and they just go for the jugular. It's both sides. So if you know these words you're using are meant to hurt, the Journal of Family Psychology talks about that, how that lasts a lot longer than physical harm. But people say things that hurt people's feelings. A lot of times it's unintentional. That's what we're talking about here. The intention. If you're trying to hurt them, it's going to hurt you a lot worse. At work, we got HR, we got all this stuff where it's a little bit, more policed, for lack of a better word. But 58% of people that quit jobs, it's because of a toxic conflict. All right, toxic is thrown around plenty, but this is one where it's just a battle. They've got an enemy at the office. It could be a boss, but it could be a coworker. You may be going for the same thing and whatever, but they quit to get away from that. It's not the job. And a lot of the times it comes back to it's dog eat dog. Somebody's trying to hurt, and it's exhausting. It's not only counterproductive, it is exhausting. And a lot of times when you look at the HR side of business, the people, and this is people that quit, not people that got fired. A lot of times it's the one who's using the weapon that leaves because it's come back on them. Hurt is a boomerang, man. It's going to hit you. And so 58% of people are having to quit jobs because of that. And then just socially. Social media rewards outrage. Yeah. What starts as just calling you out turns into, okay, I got a lot of clicks on that. Now we called them out. Let's tear them down. We can call it bullying. We put whatever word on it. I'm not even talking about that. I don't care if it doesn't hurt. If the intent is to hurt someone, you are going to feel the pain. I have no doubts. The emotions behind some of the resentment, or maybe it's jealousy, or just craving revenge, or getting you back, or what? All of that stuff. It doesn't really matter the emotions behind it when that is your intent. Instead of being fair, instead of negotiating, coming to a settlement that's equitable. No. If you're no longer doing those things and you want to inflict pain, get ready. You're going to feel it. Okay? So let's go to the third one. The third one, and I see this so much more, and I think in this environment of finding ourselves, and I choose me, and it's my time, and I deserve this. How many times I've said I? Sounds like an Ozzy song. I. Yeah. When selfishness outweighs empathy, peace is not possible. Now, we can debate this all day long. When I'm talking about that selfishness, the empathy is basically, I know some people that their favorite 3 words when you bring up somebody else, how is this going to impact them? Or who will this harm? Or what is the downside? Listen for this. When they say, I don't care, that is the truth. Oh, that's the truth. Most of the time they won't say that. I've got to put myself first now. Or it's time to think about this. Or I've thought about them for years and now it's time to think about me. That's how they mask it. But the truth is, they don't care. I don't care. Selfishness outweighs empathy. Now, in business, a lot of times we will make decisions, and I've had to do this many times. It's horrible. Every time I know I'm going to have to do this, I don't sleep the night before. I don't not sleep. But it's, even if I know this person has done something and fired themselves, letting somebody go bothers me. Many times with cutbacks, it's a business decision. It's a business decision. That's not selfish. That's not trying to hurt, and the motives are pure. However, somebody has to suffer there. The intent is not there. So that's different. When you get to a point to where in that situation, all right, the motives aren't pure. I got to let 3 people go, and I'm going to pick 3 people I don't like. There you go. Your motives aren't pure. It's not based on productivity. It's not based on what's best for the company. Yeah, that's selfish. You're intending to hurt, but that's selfish is more than empathy. And you're not going to find peace. When you do something like that, you're going to resent when they get a better job. You're going to resent when they do well. You let go some top performers instead of the people you should have just because you had something going on. And that resentment, the pain is going to come. You're going to feel it. Your motives aren't pure, so any gains you get is going to go away very quickly. But the problem is, number 3, your empathy is not there. Selfishness outweighs your empathy, and peace is not possible. Selfishness at home, that's one of the top 3 cited causes of divorce. Now, they dress it up, but it's selfish. I'm not getting what I want. I've seen it more than I care to, especially lately when people are basing everything based on themselves, what I want, with no regard for friends or family or pets or whatever. Selfishness outweighs empathy. Peace is not possible. At work, 23% of employees feel like, go back to the leaders before, remember they don't trust their motives. They feel like their leaders have no empathy. Now, I know I have been a leader, and sometimes people talk. They didn't care. All they care is about the bottom line. That's easy to say, and many times it's true. But the fact is, perception is reality. And if a fourth of your workforce feels like you have no empathy, there's some things you need to do. Now, some of those people that are spreading that rumor, they may not know it for sure, and maybe they're trying to hurt you, which is going to hurt themselves. All these 3 things apply to everything. However, you need to establish the proper perception, and maybe you have to change their perspective. But then think about just play. Dave, I need to be selfish when I play. That's my me time. That's me time. I'm supposed to be selfish. I don't like quoting Harvard, but they had a good stat here. They have done a happiness study. Harvard and happiness. Most people that I've seen from Harvard don't look happy. But anyway, they've been doing a happiness study for 75 years, and it's very elaborate how they come up with this. However, the thing has shown what brings happiness. It's not wealth. It's not fame. It's relationships. Strong, proven, substantial relationships. That brings happiness and lasting peace. You can't have strong relationships without empathy. Please hit me up on the email and tell me how you can do that. You can't have any solid relationship, family, friend, partner, dog, without empathy, because that is caring about the impact or what happens or how this will affect others. Dave, what does that have to do with play? All right, let's think about it. All right, I'm going golfing. It's playtime. All right, they're going to put me, either I've got 3 other guys I'm going to play with or it's a foursome. All right. Okay, I'm just going to think about myself. I'm going to hit whenever I want. I'm going to take as long as I want or play as fast as I want. That affects other people. That's poor form. It's bad. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go jogging, or I'm going to do whatever that I decide to do play-wise, but I'm going to have no regard for anything around me. Yeah. Litter, noise, riding a bicycle on the sidewalk, whatever. I'm going to have no regard. Yeah, the empathy, a lot of times it makes you follow the rules. Sometimes we're empathetic for selfish reasons, which is a weird left turn there, but we are. I'm going to show this because if I get through this and I show empathy, I will have a better time myself. Okay, however you want to twist it, that's fantastic. But people are happier when they have strong relationships. And you can't have those without empathy. Selfishness is a cancer. A lot of people will outgrow it. I tell you, my parents knocked it right out of me. They did. When it come up, that's one of the worst things. You could be called selfish and lazy. I think I've talked about that before. A lot of times behind this selfishness, they're trying to separate. It's all about me. I can't lump myself with all these people. I've got to make it about me, so I push other people away. Now, saying no, that's fine. But I got to push people away so I can think about myself. All right. To some degree, that can be healthy, but not to the point where you don't care how this affects them. And being empathetic is not being weak. It's not detrimental. It's being a person. It's being a member of society. And those non-empathetic, selfish people, they don't stay in society very long. They'll hop from peer group to peer group because nobody can take it for that long. And at some point, they get obsessed with self-preservation. I got to take care of me. It's good stuff, man. But not at the detriment of other people. And you can do it. And you can survive. And you can be wildly successful. But you'll never find peace. It's not possible. Yeah. So some people go beyond all this. And I'll tell you this. You may be thinking, that sounds so-and-so. Or, you know what, that sounds exactly bleh, whoever that is. I'm not saying it is you. But one of the biggest problems with people realizing these three things in their life is just denial. And you find someone that's in these situations, I can tell you, they go beyond impure motives and they go beyond hurtful intentions and selfishness. They're in denial. They convince themselves. Look for these three things. These are the people who are in the throes of these three situations. They're always the victim. They're always the victim. Something happened to them. They were mistreated. Blah, blah. And that way they can justify their actions. They're in denial that what they're doing is wrong because they're a victim. Also, they were a target, which is kind of like being the victim. But because of that, whoever they're targeting is evil. Yeah, you tried to hurt them. You're in pain. Oh, no, I wasn't trying to hurt them. They're evil. They had it coming. So they're the victim. Whoever they're targeting is evil. And then the last one is they'll do anything and it's justified. Yeah, because they're the victim. The target is evil. So whatever happens is justified. Watch these people. They're more than toxic. And because, honestly, the reason they're so dangerous to themselves is the denial part. They don't see it. They're blinded by their victimhood and the evilness of their enemy that makes anything justifiable. That mindset's so dangerous because it weaponizes self-deception. It's weird because it's internal, but their denial has weaponized them against themselves. And it doesn't just drive peace away, internal peace. It drives everybody away. It is a bridge burner. Who wants to be around people like this? And I know people throughout the years who were, now that I look back, this is where they were. And I hope they turned around. So how do you deal with somebody who is in this type of denial? They're everywhere. And this could be with these three things, but it could be that person who is just not in reality. First thing is, and I'll go through a few, don't play their game. Don't join in. Don't be a yes man. If you join in, then you're fighting on their terms and you're actually feeding their delusion. Yeah. We'll talk more about what to do, but don't play the game. And second thing is be able to speak reality without hostility. You don't have to confront them. You confront them and then, hey, you're doing it too. Yeah, they're the victim again, and now you're doing it to them. Just a calm truth. That has its own weight. No heated argument. No back and forth. Correct the record. Or when somebody's saying somebody else is the devil, I've never seen that side of them. Yeah, that's not confrontational. They've never treated me that way. That's all something, just reality without hostility. The thing is, you gotta, and this is the part that leads to loneliness and isolation, is you've got to limit your exposure to these people that are in denial. Boundaries are oxygen masks. You can't save them, but they can suffocate you. So limit your exposure. Maybe it's just something they're going through and they'll get better. Because I've had a lot of friends who've done that. It's just a phase. Then you found out later, oh man, I had no idea they were going through all of that. So don't play their game. Give a glimpse of reality without hostility. Limit your exposure. And then watch for projection. Their accusations, a lot of times, will reveal what's inside them, or what they've done, or what they're planning to do. Oh, that's a well-known political tactic. Watch out what one side's accusing the other of, because they're probably doing it. Someone's talking to somebody about psychological abuse. You just wouldn't believe it. Okay. Yeah. Watch for that projection. And then again, to go back, take a step back, if they'll be that hurtful toward another person, and maybe it's a ex-partner, maybe it's an ex-friend, maybe it's all of this. Maybe it's the same classification that you are to them as well. If they'll do it to them, be careful, they'll do it to you. So watch for that. Watch when they're projecting their behavior and saying someone else is acting that way, because that means the fire's getting close to you. And then the thing is, you got to release the outcome. You cannot argue someone out of a lie they've married themselves to. Sometimes peace means you got to step back. You hung in there for a while. You showed empathy. I heard one today is you can't talk someone out of the dysfunction that suits their storyline. Denial. They're locked in, man. And they believe it. They believe it themselves. That's tough. Dealing with that it's tough on everybody around them. And then they wonder, where'd everybody go? Denial's a tough one. So the thing is, what have I said? What do I always say? Well, Dave, you say so much crap, I don't know. Here's what I'm saying now. Stop saying it. The role of positive people in your life cannot be understated. No one should face these types of challenges alone. We all have bad days. We have bad weeks. Heck, sometimes we have a bad year, a decade. I don't know. But you shouldn't have to face it alone. You shouldn't be doing... You shouldn't. That's not the way I should say this. These three things will compound this situation, but not if you have positive people around you. Surround yourself with family and friends who remind you of your worth. When you do that, and they're reminding you of your worth, you're not going to do these three things. At work, have cheerleaders, have fans, have allies that want you to do well, have people you look up to who will tell you when you're out of line. They won't let denial take root in you, because they'll get rid of it. Put yourself on teams that you're a part of something that's doing something positive. Sometimes you have to convert an old toxic person to get them turned around. Now they're one of your best friends, but positive people. And even in your free time, join circles or groups that you have something in common with, and it's a positive thing. And they celebrate when you do well or do something better, or when you have a breakthrough in some way, or when you have some peace about something. That makes them feel better. Some type of service out there. It's so important to have positive influences in your life. Whether it's a book or it's a podcast or a show or something that makes you feel better. And inversely, get rid of all the stuff that doesn't. Those people, think right now of one person who, when you have an interaction with them, you come away feeling better than you did before you went into it. Hold on to that person and look for other people like that. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that positive relationships, this is common sense, but a lot of research went into it, they reduce stress, boost resilience, and improve physical health. One single encouraging person in your life can change your entire outlook. Some well-timed words can change everything. Absolutely. So how do we deal with these things in our own lives? Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens. So, first thing, examine your motives daily. What are you doing today? What's going on? Why are you doing that? In this business deal coming up, what's your stance? What are you trying to do? You trying to be fair? You trying to have a positive outcome for both sides? It can be a win-win. They get a good product. You sell a good product. You both make margins, and boom, hey, you can do more business in the future. Yeah, you're going to have lunch with somebody. Maybe it's a friend you hadn't seen in a while. What is your motive? Is it they're going through a tough time? Is it to be quiet and listen and be there supportive? Oh, that's great. Is it to just catch up on old times and talk about blah, 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 whatever? Is it selfish? You just want to rub it in their face how good you're doing? That's a bad motive. That's a bad motive. So examine your motives daily. Pause. How many times? Pause before reacting in anger. Remember the difference in reacting and responding? When somebody does something, pause before you react in anger, because that can cause a problem. That can cause you to try to hurt them. If you react in anger, you may say something meant to hurt them. You may say something selfish with no empathy toward how they're going to feel. So pause. That's it. Pausing and saying nothing is probably the best thing you could possibly say in a lot of situations. Okay, here's a good one. Replace selfishness with service. Hello. You can't be selfish when you're doing something for somebody else. So check that. If you look back, you look at your motives and you look back in this past week and look at all the different things you've done, how many of them were just for you or just because of you? All right, next week, sprinkle some service in there. Do it. Dedicate some time. Help somebody, ask somebody, the people around you. Ask how you can help. Better yet, do something they know. Do something you know they like. Don't ask them, just do it. That's service. People that you know are less social, give them a text. Give them an attaboy. Do something. It doesn't have to be 40 hours of community service at a local shelter. No. Do something selfless and replace it with service. Accountability. I believe in this 100%. Have people check on you. Have people check you. I love to, a lot of times I'll send somebody an email. Hey, I'm thinking about sending this and I'd like to have somebody else look over it. You know me. Is this the tone that I need to be going for? Or just have people say, hey, I'm having a tough time with this. Can you check on me in a week? Let me know how I'm doing. Maybe it's a diet. Maybe it's a health program. Maybe I'm asking you, I need to go to the doctor, but I need somebody to push me. So can you check on me about every week and say, have you gone to the doctor yet? I need somebody to hold me accountable. And I won't do it. I'll find reasons not to go. That's fantastic. But hold yourself accountable too. Make that list, make that checklist, and go down it every day to keep yourself in check. And then practice gratitude. There's so many things to be thankful for. I was so selfish 10 times last week. All right. Hey, I replaced that 2 times with service this week. I was selfish 8 times. Hey, good job, Dave. At least 2 times you weren't a soul-sucking, arrogant, selfish pud. Practice gratitude. Not only patting yourself on the back, which is important, but be thankful for these people, that accountability person, these opportunities. I've got a couple of calls from the president of a company I'm working with right now. He didn't have to call for that. One time he called and he started talking about something else, and then he just launched right into a personal thing he knew I was going through. And that meant so much to me. He didn't have time to do that, but he did that. It was a little bit of accountability for me, but also I was so grateful that I work for a company where the president not only knows, cares and cares enough to call and say, is there anything I can do? Wow. That man will find peace. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I can deal with this. I can get myself in check. I'm not in denial. I don't know why you're doing this. So let's talk about 5 ways to cope and help someone struggling with these 3 things. They're in the midst of it. Now, I know denial's a tough thing, and maybe you can't get through them. But when you have this person that you care deeply about, but they're in the throes of these 3 conditions, listen without judgment. Be there. Listen. Pay attention. Look at them without judgment. Offer truth gently. Maybe that's I've never been through anything quite like this, and I'm sorry you're going through it. And if it's a person out there that they're targeting, they've never treated me that way. And that has not been my experience. Or my experience has been this. And make it truth. But be gentle. These people are not in a state to receive anything that's not gentle. And if you want them to come around, that gentleness will help. Then, like we said earlier, set healthy boundaries. I want to be here for you. I don't want to talk about this every day because I don't want it to be a downward spiral. But set some healthy boundaries about communication, about the type of communication, where, how often. Very important. I've also noticed one of the best ways to appeal for empathy is to model it. Show them what empathy looks like. Okay, let's just say it. Show them what not being selfish looks like. I've got all this going on, but I can't do it tomorrow. I'm going to help this person. I'm going to do this. My back is killing me, but I'm going to help them move. I've got work is crazy. However, this person needs me. Let them see you model empathy, not just for them, but for other people. And that, by contrast, maybe they'll see their selfishness. And then I'm telling you, I got some people in my life right now that need professional help. They're in denial, so that's going to be a problem. But I would encourage that. There are a lot of companies have numbers you can call, the associate hotlines or wherever, where it's anonymous and they have people on staff that can talk to people. I've had situations lately where I've talked to people and I'm the counselor. However, I tell them a little bit of what's been going on in the last 6-8 months. And they're like, wow, how do you handle that? I'm like, man, you've got so many challenges and you're having empathy toward me when mine are nowhere near as severe as yours. That touches me. Maybe encouraging some sort of professional help or talk to somebody. If you can get them to listen, that's great. The problem is with somebody is in this situation, they don't listen, so they're not receiving, and everything they're spewing is venomous. So that's tough too. But encourage professional help when you have that. A lot of people, though, will come back with, I just don't have time for this. Dave, I appreciate the O-Talk, but peace is not something I'm really looking for. I'm really going at it right now. I've got too much going on. I'll worry about peace later. I'm too busy. Peace isn't something that you stop what you're doing and go get. Peace is not a weakness. A lot of people will say that. It's not a weakness. It's fuel. Burnout causes U.S. companies $300 billion a year in lost productivity. That is measurable. So peace is not a touchy-feely thing. And I get that from some of you. It's not touchy-feely. It's not soft. It's a multiplier. Peace is something that drives productivity. If you want to win longer, you want to sustain something, you need peace. Also, motives will show up in results. You might get that deal, but if people sense manipulation, you won't get the repeat business. You better enjoy that one. Yeah, the gains will go away as quickly as you got them. Research shows that 68% of customers leave because they feel companies don't care. Companies don't have empathy. They're just in that for the sale. That's not like people. Yeah, it's not sensitivity. It's a bottom line. It's you get that one sale. That's it. Okay, let's have a little sensitivity. Let's have a little empathy. Let's talk about the relationship. We'll have repeat customers. You don't have to go out find new ones all the time. And then pain backfires on profit. Leaders who lead by fear see 48% higher turnover. Half your team. Yeah, you're going to have turnover, half your team. You can't drive people hard until you crush them and expect any loyalty. They'll leave. That's why you've got to have empathy. You've got to have pure motives. You don't inflict pain. This team is not a group of lab rats here. And turnover will kill momentum faster than anything, especially your seasoned people. They forgot more than most of the other people are learning. So if they leave, you've got all that tribal knowledge gone. Then these young people, who knows what they'll become? So you don't pick and choose. You treat everybody with empathy. You have pure motives, and you don't hurt people. Don't hurt people. And then empathy builds leverage. Empathy doesn't make you soft. An old softy, goodness, a couple of companies have called me the velvet hammer. The velvet part is empathy. Empathy makes you magnetic. You draw people. Many studies have shown how leaders who demonstrate empathy are twice as likely to inspire innovation, creativity. They stick with you, man, because you care. It's so important. And empathy is really, it's kindness. It's leverage. I know so many times, you can go over there and make more money. You can go over there and probably get a fancier title, but you lose the culture. And it's a culture of productivity, but it's laced with empathy. We care. We care about you. We care about your family. And then lastly, the denial does not win championships. Denial, it doesn't even play the game. Denial loses because it's a victim. And the other team is the enemy. And anything we do is justified. Yeah. You call me a wuss, call me soft, call me whatever, but call me a champion. Because we're going to win. Peace is not about... A lot of people just roll their eyes when you talk about peace or contentment. It's not about sitting crisscross applesauce in a corner humming all the meditation and all that. That's not what meditation is anyway. It's about creating clarity and energy. In relationships, they're gonna keep you driving 100 miles an hour, but you're not gonna blow your engine because you care about people. People care about you. Your motives are pure. You're not trying to hurt somebody, and your selfish does not outweigh your empathy. Just think instead of impure motives, be transparent with your purpose. Let everybody know. Let everybody in. Give them a peek behind the curtain. Instead of intending to hurt somebody, try to heal. Your motive is to heal, not hurt. Instead of selfishness, show them you care. I care about you. I can't be selfish and care about you. Instead of denial, look for, embrace, and show reality, no matter how painful that reality is. So for those that are experiencing these challenges, I feel sorry for you, and not in a pity way. It's tough. I think we're all there from time to time, but peace can return. Check your motives, check your heart, check your empathy. And for those of you that are watching someone, which that is a lot higher, most of you who are going through this have turned this off a long time ago. This one's not about me. So a lot of us are watching others that are spiraling. They're spiraling. They're unraveling. It's going to be rough. Whether it's denial or just destruction, stay firm with them. Stay firm, gentle but firm and kind. But stay protected. Don't be collateral damage. But your example might be the ladder they need when they're ready to climb out of this pit that they're in. Yeah. So for all of us, just protect peace, Go for it. If you're not there yet, keep going. But we've talked about the 3 ways to make sure it doesn't happen. But let your motives be pure. Let your intentions be healing and your empathy stronger than your ego. And I'll say, I'm going to end with those 3 things. If your motives aren't pure, your gains will vanish as quickly as they came. If your aim is to hurt, you're going to feel the pain. And when selfishness outweighs empathy, peace is not possible. Because peace doesn't walk away by accident. You got to push it away or invite it to stay. All right. Thanks so much. Hit me up, david@otalks.com, david@otalks.com. Let me know what you think. I want to hear it. I appreciate it. You're giving me so many good topics to talk about. I'm way behind. I'm not behind on getting them out, but I've got them lined up. I just got to talk them. So hit the website. There's all that stuff on there. And then I'm going to start putting a calendar back on the website because I'm speaking more and I want you to be able to hear me. Book me. Hey, man, I'll come talk to you or your group. I'm back to the faith-based ones, free. You got a church group you want me to talk to? I'll come in on Sunday and we can talk to the details. I don't charge for those. It's giving back. It's public service. It's empathy. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging on. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.